Hey guys, today is June 17th. It's on Monday, and I am 34 weeks and 6 days pregnant. I just want to apologize for not getting this up any sooner. As you can see, I look like a disgusting mess. And it's just because I have no energy. It was good there for a bit because I was taking my iron supplements, which were working. And everything was going great. So I have candy in my mouth. I'll try to stop rolling it around on my tongue. Iron supplements were working and everything. They still are. I feel more energized than what I was. But I think it's just that part at the last stage of your pregnancy where you're absolutely exhausted and your body is trying to reserve every little bit of energy that it has. So I just woke up from a 3-hour nap. I did post today that I wanted to get this vlog up. At some point today, I obviously need to get in the shower and get dressed. I'm still in my PJs, so yeah, and it's like 2:15 in the afternoon. I'm just getting up and getting myself something to eat for lunch. I'm starved. But yeah, I wanted to sit here and do this vlog while my lunch cooks in case, for whatever reason, I end up back in bed and this vlog doesn't get up today. So, 34 weeks has been super exciting. A lot has happened. I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible because I have food cooking. But anyways, I have been having what the doctors are now calling prodromal labor. And prodromal labor is where you have contractions and, they have a pattern to them, but after a while they'll just stop. So, that really sucks. And it is contractions, not Braxton Hicks anymore. I will explain that though. So Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday of last week. Yeah. I was sitting in the baby's room and I was not feeling good. I was laying down for a while and I had really, really bad indigestion. So, I felt like I was going to be sick. So I got up and started rocking in the rocking chair in the baby's room. And I had, what I thought were Braxton Hicks. They weren't regular by any means. I think those ones were Braxton Hicks, to be honest with you. But, they weren't regular, but they were kind of painful, and they were painful in my cervix. It just felt like somebody was stabbing me up there. Oh, my hair looks a mess. Stabbing me up there with like a screwdriver or something. It was really bad. And my cat was like howling at me and just being weird. Like, he doesn't normally do that. Anyways, so come Thursday morning, I had contractions all day long that were irregular, not in a pattern or anything. They weren't very close together either. But went to bed Wednesday night, and come Thursday morning, I was in quite an amount of pain in my cervix. So I thought, maybe we should just go get checked out and see what's going on. So we went up to labor and delivery. They checked my cervix, said it was closed, which kind of shocked me because you think that much pain in your cervix, they had to have been doing something, but no, it was closed. They didn't do a cervical ultrasound to measure it, so I don't know if it's shortened up any or not. But, anyway, so I was sent home, baby was doing great on the monitors and everything, and, yeah. So Thursday evening, after supper, my husband and I went for a walk downtown because it had been raining for a couple days prior and I was stuck in the house, and Thursday was our only nice day that we had in a while, so we decided to get out and go downtown for a walk. Everything was fine. Went to my parents' house so that I could try to print off my birth plan because for some reason my printer decided to kick the bucket and I can't figure out what's wrong with it, so I think I'm just going to need a new one. But their computers were computer was having problems, and I never got my birth plan printed out. So Matthew had made arrangements to hang out with some friends that were in town that night, so he just dropped me off at my parents', and he went with his friends, and my parents were going to drive me home. So around 10 after 10 at night, I think, my dad's like, well, I have to get up in the morning for work. I'm going to go outside and have a smoke, and give me about 5 minutes to come out, and I'll drive you home. Because obviously I don't want to be around my dad when he smokes. So that was fine. Talking to my mom. Went to get up off the chair, and boom, right into a severe SVT episode. Like, it was bad, bad, bad. I've been having some, I don't want to call them SVT episodes. I would call them tachycardia, I think that's what you would call it. Tachycardia. It's where my heartbeat goes anywhere between 100 and 150. Have those small little episodes daily. But SVT for me is when it gets up in like the 200s to 250s. And that's where mine was. So it was the first time my parents ever seen me have one of these, and they freaked out. And my mom called 911, and I panicked really bad because you guys know, last SVT episode I had, I was this close from being injected into that god-awful medication that will reset your heart. And yeah, I didn't want that. So I panicked bad and thought, this is it. This is where I'm going to have it. And if you want to know why I'm so scared to get this medication, just Google it. I have no idea what it's called. I can't remember. But just Google treatment for SVT episode. It freaking scares the daylight out of me. This actually stops your heart for a second or two. And so it can go back into a normal sinus rhythm. I have been told horror stories about this, and I've read horror stories, and the doctor does not sugarcoat about how bad you will feel after you have this medication. It's really bad. So anyways, the SVT, thank God, corrected itself very quickly. It was the fastest severe SVT episode that I've ever had, which I didn't even really get to the point to try to do anything to get rid of it. You can do breathing exercises to try to get rid of this, but I have been trying to calm myself down, that I just didn't wrap my head around trying to stop it with the breathing exercises. So I didn't even need to try to do anything to get rid of it, thank God. So the ambulance was there, and I was like, well, I don't really know if I want to go up now that my heart is better, because after an SVT episode, there's nothing they can do for you at the hospital. They'll just monitor you and send you home. I've had enough of these to know. I also know that a couple days after I have an episode, it takes a little while for my heart to get back into a slower beat, so I can go anywhere from 115 to 130 up to 150 beats per minute, and it will last that way all day long, because it takes a while for my heart to regulate. Anyways, my parents are begging me to go up to the hospital because after what they just seen, they're terrified. So I said, okay, I will go, and they contacted Matt to come up and meet me there. I was fine. I even walked out of my parents' house to sit in the stretcher. I'm like, no, I'm good. I feel 20,000 times better than I just did. Fresh air will make me feel better. Just let me walk. Okay, that was fine. As soon as I sat down onto the stretcher, I was like, oh, I don't feel good. And they're like, what do you mean you don't feel good? Because I'm hooked up to the heart monitors, and my heart is still going right around 120 beats per minute, which is normal for me after an episode. And I said, my stomach is really hard. And they're like, oh, okay. They put me into the ambulance, and we start driving. Contractions are coming every 3 minutes. It freaking hurts so bad. So we get to the hospital, and I was telling them, like, I'm having contractions. This has nothing to do with my heart anymore. They could be Braxton Hicks, obviously. So, they wheeled me up to labor and delivery, put me on the monitor. Sure enough, I'm having what's showing of tightenings every 3 minutes. And they're not like super, super powerful tightenings. I know on the monitors, they started me out on the contraction monitor thing. They started me out at 20. And I think they went as high as like 40 and 50. So they weren't like super bad, but it was hurting in my cervix. And my belly just didn't get like super, super rock hard. Well, the nurse came in, or not, I'm sorry, not the nurse. The resident doctor came in, and she's asking me a bunch of questions and stuff, and one of the questions was, do you have to breathe to get through these tightenings? I said, to be honest, sometimes I have to take a couple deep breaths and just get my focus and wait for it to pass, because they weren't lasting that long, maybe like 20, 30 seconds at the most. So it's not like I had to like do Lamaze class breathing through them. And that's what she asked me. She's like, is it like just take a couple breaths, or is it like Hollywood movie breathing? I said, no, definitely not Hollywood movie breathing, just taking a couple breaths. And she's like, oh, okay then. Well, these are what I would call really good Braxton Hicks, because if you're not breathing like the women do in Hollywood, you're not having contractions. I was like, okay. Well, you're the resident doctor. I'm not going to argue with you. You know more than I do. So the nurse came in to check my strip, and I told her what the resident doctor has said, and she's like, what? She's like, we don't know if these are contractions unless we check your cervix, because contractions will do something to your cervix as Braxton Hicks will not. I said, okay. So they were going to get the doctor that was on call to come in and check me. And of course she brought the resident doctor in with her, and basically I had 2 cervical checks, one from the resident and one from the doctor. And I don't know, just the look on the resident doctor's face when she checked me, she's like, she's dilated. She's actually dilated. And I was shocked, because I really, honestly and truly wasn't expecting it, because I had the type of pain before, but I just didn't expect them to say that I was dilated. And the main doctor says to the resident doctor, she's like, well, how dilated do you think that she is? And the doctor says, 1, maybe 2 centimeters. No, I think 1 centimeter dilated. Yep, 1 centimeter. So she's like, okay, let me check. So she checked, and she's like, sure enough, 1 centimeter dilated. And I'm just like, what? Are you serious? Obviously this is an active labor, but I'm shocked. Because all along, any of this pain wasn't doing anything to my cervix. So sure enough, I was having the real deal contractions. It just wasn't enough to put me into active labor or anything. So that explains why it felt like someone was putting a knife inside of my cervix. Anyways, so they said, well, at this point I had been on the monitor for about 4 hours, because they were so busy, and these poor doctors. They were so busy, and I obviously wasn't first on the list as priority, because other people that had babies coming out of them at that time were. So, they got to me last, kind of thing. And I had been on a monitor for 4 hours, having contractions for 4 hours, and I wasn't progressing. So they sent me home, and they told me, at this point, we're not going to try to stop your labor, which I was quite shocked about, because I thought they would have, if I went into labor prior to 37 weeks or 36 weeks, but they're like, no, we're not going to stop your labor at this point. Because I think they would have given me the medication right then, because obviously those contractions were dilating me. And they told me just go home, and if they become into a regular pattern that are closer together, like not closer together, but lasting longer, like 40 to 60 seconds apart, then come back, or unless your water breaks. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on right now. Yeah. So the hospital bag is packed, the baby's bag is packed, the car seat is installed, and we're just waiting. And I've been having these contractions on and off. Sometimes I will have them for hours and hours and hours, but they just never get closer together. They usually only last for 20 to 30 seconds, and they were never as close together as they were the night that I went into the hospital. So that's what happened for week 34. I will do a what's in my hospital bag video. I know it's such a highly requested video. And I will do a diaper bag video and a labor bag video. Well, I don't have 3 bags. I have 2. But yeah, you'll see what I mean. Anything else I can think of? No, other than my poor husband is beyond scared shitless. He's so nervous, but he's so excited. And me, I'm just excited. And I think finally a little bit of that nervous energy hit me a little bit. Just to know that, sometimes women can walk around at 1 centimeter, even 4 centimeters for weeks. And nothing happened. Which is, I'm prepared for that. But I can't help but be excited to know that those pains were doing something, and I am 1 centimeter, and it's not much, but it's something, and this is like the last part of my pregnancy, and I'm really, really, really excited. I do want to do a video on my labor thoughts, but I don't want to offend anybody about how I feel. I don't know if you'll know what I mean by that, but I don't have a lot of the same feelings that every other woman, I don't want to say every other woman, but some women may feel like some women are petrified of labor, and me, I'm just like, bring it on, because, dealing with infertility, by the time she gets here, it will be almost 8 years that we've dealt with infertility. So, this is the last part of the infertility journey for us. This is like, we're in the last 5 weeks of pregnancy, and this is it for us. Like, that chapter of our lives will be closed, even if we never get blessed with another child. The goal was only one for us in the first place. So I'm very excited. A lot of women are petrified, and I can't blame them, because I know it's gonna hurt. It's not gonna be like a bed of roses and an easy thing to deal with, but I'm just not nervous at all. I'm actually excited for it. I'm excited for the pain. I know I'm a weirdo. Anyways, I will upload this. I'm starving. I'm going to go eat my lunch, and I will talk to you guys this Friday for week 35, because I do have an appointment. And that week 35 might be my last pregnancy vlog. It will be 35 weeks tomorrow, but reason I say it might be my last one is because they start the biophysicals on Tuesday of 36 weeks. So if there is anything remotely wrong that they feel that they have to take the baby, they will that day. So week 35 on Friday could very well be my last pregnancy vlog, which is, it's really surreal. All right, I'm going to go now. I'm hungry. Talk to you guys later. Bye.